Good evening, I'm Fatai Whaingaa and this is Television Tongan News. In the headlines, His Majesty urges the people of Vavau to ensure food sustainability in the island. Honourable for the Whehio Lapaha and Sione Filipe's wedding took place at an Anglican church in New Zealand, and Tongan women sent back to Tonga after her US visa being revoked at the Los Angeles airport. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. A sustainable food supply for the people of Vavau is one of the priority issues that the islanders must look into as part of the tribe to ensure sufficient food supplies in the island. This was the highlight of His Majesty King Dubal VI's royal address to officially open the Vavau Agricultural and Handicraft Show 2013 on Saturday. His Majesty's address highlighted the importance of ensuring that the people of the island coincides with the given theme of this year's World Food Day, Sustainable Food System for Security and Nutrition. His Majesty stresses that the importance of this annual show brings to light the good working ties of the locals and the government, together with its portfolio, especially the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food. In his remarks, he praises the residents of the island for the success on their hard labour, which are shown on a goods exhibit during the one-day show. He also stated that this is an outcome of the locals' full support towards healthy diet in the island. His Majesty also recalled one of the statements made by His late Majesty King Tauwhahau IV during the 2004 show in Vavau, saying that if the people of Vavau obtains wealth, the whole of Tonga will also be fortunate of such fortune. He also highlights the special attention needed for tourism to ensure that it flourish as part of their drive to revive economic developments in the island of Vavau. His Majesty also thanked the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Sengsta Saulala, and his portfolio for the hard work they've done, together with the farmers, fishermen and grafters on the island for making the show possible. Present at the ceremony was Her Majesty Queen Nana Spa'o. Government officials that present in the same program were the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister Sami Waipulu, the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Sengsta Saulala, Ministers of the Ground, Governor Vavau Lord Fulivai and many guests. This year's show was held at the Niponi Playground at Vavau High School. Their Majesties are currently officiating at the Whatonga Royal Residence before leaving Vavau to officiate at the similar program in Hapai this Wednesday. The royal wedding ceremony of Honourable for the Whehio Lord Tuita and Sione Filipe were held during the weekends at the Holy Trinity Cathedral Panel in Auckland, New Zealand. Attending the wedding ceremony were members of the royal family, including Her Majesty the Queen Mother, Halavalmata Aho, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Te Poto'a Ulukalala, Her Royal Highness Princess Pilolevu Tuita, Lord Tuita, and many guests. After the official wedding ceremony, the celebrations then continued to a wedding reception held at the Sky City Grand Hotel. Honourable for the Whehio Lapaha is the third daughter of Princess Pilolevu Tuita and Lord Tuita. Sione Filipe Jr. is the son of Olive and Sione Filipe. A Tongan woman was sent back to Tonga after she was detained by U.S. immigration officers at the Los Angeles airport in the United States last week. This was after her U.S. visa was being revoked without her knowledge. She was detained along with two other Tongan women, yet the two others were able to be released and given permits to arrive in the United States. Radio and Television Tongan News have not confirmed the grounds regarding this decision. Television Tongan News contacted the U.S. Embassy in Suva, Fiji regarding the issue, and they says that they've alerted the visa holder and the airlines on the issue in order for them to be notified. We'll join Caroline Tonglava with more details on this story.
Radio and Television Tonga News made contact to the airline where these passengers travelled, Fiji Airways office in Nuku'alofa, and Lovely Maka from the airline stated that usually the U.S. Embassy alert them about the list of names of people that faces visa's cancellation. According to Mrs. Maka, lately the airline has not received any names from the U.S. Embassy. She says that in regards to the case of the Tongan woman being diverted back to Tonga, the airline did not receive any pre-notifications regarding her visa was being revoked. She added they were later alerted on the issue upon receiving an email from one of their staff on their branch in LA. Mrs. Maka added they have also queried the U.S. Embassy regarding their visa revoke procedure. Meanwhile, the Fiji Airways airline will investigate the matter thoroughly because the embassy will sue the airline for the expenses. Moreover, Sonu Uvuni from the Air Terminal Services, or ATS, from the Formoto International Airport has confirmed with radio and television Tongan News that the airlines usually alert the staff of the ATS regarding the list of names of those that their visas have been revoked. Therefore, the staff of the ATS are able to stop the travelers beforehand they leave the country. According to Mr. Voni, in regards to the case revolving the Tongan woman's return, the staff of the ATS did not receive any notification about the woman from the Fiji Airways airline. Meanwhile, according to a statement from a spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy, it stated that according to the Privacy Act, the U.S. Embassy in Suva are not able to discuss any applicant's visa publicly. The embassy also stated when a visa is revoked as standard operating procedure, the embassy will notify the applicant in writing or via telephone that the non-immigrant visa is no longer valid and should not attempt to travel to the United States. Meanwhile, radio and television Tongan News is trying to confirm if these people received the notification from the U.S. Embassy on time about the cancellations of their visas. Radio Tongan News also tries to confirm the method of communications which was used to alert the visa applicant.
The preparation of Theological College is in full swing in its upcoming double anniversary this week. The formal celebrations will start on Wednesday until Friday this week, Sinlato reports.
The double anniversary is the school's 65th anniversary, together with the 25th anniversary of teaching the Bachelor of Divinity in the Theological School. The principal of the college, Reverend Dr. Siotame Havea, said that the Bachelor of Divinity Jubilee celebrations was postponed from last year to be held this year, together with the school's 65th anniversary.
Before, we used to have our study for theological study to MCD, Melbourne College of Divinity, in which we used to do our licentiate in theology and diploma in theology from MCD. But now we, for 25 years that we have done this program of study, the Bachelor of Divinity, which is accredited with the SPETS, which is the South Pacific Theological Schools. This is the accreditation body that looks after the program of study.
Reverend Dr. Siotame Havea confirmed that Her Royal Highness Princess Mele Siwiliktapu Kalanivalu Fotofili will be the guest of honor at the events. The celebrations will begin this Wednesday with other events prior to the graduation ceremony. Other events will be held on the school's double anniversary 3-day celebrations, which includes planting of a Helana tree to commemorate the school's anniversary and launching of the school's new computer lab. The students of Seattle Tai Theological School will join their ex-students in celebrating the school's important milestone.
This college is filled with your love and with your care and with your contribution in various ways, money-wise, and a lot of things. This college has been built by your love. And I want to stand here on the 14th and the 15th to say thank you to God and thank you to you all. People who have passed away and people who are still living today, to convey our sincere gratitude for your contribution to the life of the college. And we pray that the college will continue to serve the main purpose of the country and the government and the church and the families.
Radio Tonga 1 and 2, FM 90, will be at the Nafualu campus, where the celebrations will be held to broadcast live the celebration events. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinilatu.
High-level defense delegation from the Chinese People Liberation Army is currently in Nuku'alofa in an official visit to strengthen ties with its Tongan counterpart. The group is led by Deputy Chief of the Liberation Army's Political Division, General Wu Jingday, and his report on the details of the story with Linda Filiai.
The Chinese delegation visiting the Tonga Defence Force headquarters in Nuku'alofa. The team met with Commander of Tonga Defence Services Brigadier General Tauaikau Ta'atu and some of his defence officials this afternoon. There were 6 officials visiting Tonga from China. They are the highest ranking official from Chinese Defence Force whom are visiting the kingdom. They are being led by the Deputy Chief of General Political Department, and he was accompanied by 2 general and 3 colonel. Tonga's ambassador to China, Siamelia Latu, also travelled together with the team. Meanwhile, information from Tonga Defence Services says China has been given millions of technical aid to Tonga. Many projects have been completed with the donation from the Chinese government. These include vehicles, computer, among others, including offering scholarship to members of Tonga Defence Services for furthermore training and study in China. A special welcoming reception will be at Theological Maysville this evening. For Television Tonga News, I'm Linda Filiai.
The trial for Lord Tuita, who is still adjourned due to his submission to the Supreme Court that he will be away from the kingdom from August 8th until the 13th, which is tomorrow. The acting Chief Police Magistrate Silas Murphy reveals this to Radio Tonga News this morning. Mr. Murphy says the date for Lord Tuita's trial will be later set when the noble returns to the kingdom. He adds that Lord Tuita's case is currently discussed by his legal counsel and the Crown's legal practitioner. Lord Tuita has been charged for possession of an alleged unregistered weapon. The ex-students of Tonga College Atele continues with their trial to end school violence in the kingdom. Tonga College ex-students Vice Secretary Komputa Malolo revealed this to Radio Tonga News last Friday in a special program to mark their 10,000 pa'anga donation to the ex-student and the students that were injured in a recent attack to a residential home in Tofoa. Whanonga tells you more.
The ex-students of Tonga College have presented a donation to the young men who were injured upon an alleged attack last month. The Vice Secretary of the Ex-Students Committee, Komputa Malolo, says the purpose of the assistance is to help the 2 affected families. The donation aims to help the families of the 2 young men who were injured in the recent attack from a school violence outbreak last month. We wanted to help families in case of any future medical needs. We hope that the money can assist them. Also speaking to Radio and Television Tonga News, a member of the ex-students committee, David Amanu, says this school violence becomes a burden for the families. When these problems occur, we are often reflected about life in the past, and also mothers are the vulnerable people at this time as they face many challenges. Meanwhile, mother of the victim, Daniela Halahuni, happily told Radio Tonga News how happy she was in receiving the donation. There are not enough words to thank the ex-students for their generous donation, but I do extend my appreciation for this donation. I hope that God will bless them in every work they do. The 2 young men were injured from an alleged attack from Tupou College students at a residential home in Tofoa.
That's the local news. Pacific is up next.